Zajo.
Spinus, what up?
Any plans for the next month and a half?
I don't know. Let me take a look at my calendar. Looks like I got absolutely nothing. Yep, absolutely nothing. Why, what's going on?
Well, I just got off the phone with Jonathan Wyman.
Our old friend Jonathan Wyman, the prolific Portland, Maine producer, recording, and mix engineer?
Yes, Jonathan Wyman, the prolific Portland, Maine producer, recording, and mix engineer. Anyway, remember when he told us about that relative of his in England who has multiple copies of literally every single album ever recorded?
Yeah, I remember that. How cool would it be to have all those records in your collection?
Well, that's the thing. He's giving the entire collection to John.
No way. The whole collection?
Yeah, the whole thing. The only problem is there are too many records to transport by plane. He's going to have to bring them all back by boat. He called to ask if we'd be willing to meet him in England and sail the ship back to Maine with him.
Is he aware that neither of us know anything about boats, sailing, or the ocean?
Yeah, he's not worried about it. He just wants us along for the company.
Oh, sounds good to me. When do we leave?
Whenever you're ready. Jeff RE2D just booked our tickets online. He's going to look after things while we're gone and make sure the podcast episodes get posted on time. Jeff RE, don't fuck anything up while we're gone.
Don't worry about it, dickhole. I've got it covered. See you when you get back, loser.
All right, well, I'm ready when you are.
Cool, let's do this. Peace out, J2D.
Later, dinks.
Let's talk. Spencer and Zach Explore the Universe is brought to you by Maine Spirits. Learn more about the spirits they import and what you can do with them at mainspirits.com, on Instagram at main_spirits, or download their app for your smartphone. Stay tuned at the end of the show, and I'll show you how to make a cocktail during happy hour. The show is also brought to you by Bull Moose. Learn more and/or order at bullmoose.com, or visit one of their many safely opened locations peppered throughout Maine and New Hampshire. You can learn more about this week's releases by checking out the Bull Moose Minute in the middle of the show. Last but not least, the show is brought to you by Sun Tiki Studios on Forest Avenue in Portland, Maine. Sun Tiki Studios, a top-notch rehearsal and performance space. While they are presently closed for shows, you can arrange a safe distance rehearsal with your group at suntikistudios.com.
Nice. Wow, I can't believe we're here in England. This is great.
Soak it in, my man. This is Beatle country. Hey, I think that's Wyman over there by that huge cargo ship, waving to us from the dock.
Damn, do you think that floating monstrosity is our ride back to the States?
It's got to be. How else are you going to transport multiple copies of literally every single album ever recorded?
Ahoy, mateys! How was the flight over? Are you landlubbers ready to strap on your sea legs? Oh, boy. Are you landlubbers ready to strap on your sea legs and set sail for the new world?
I don't know. Jones looks like he's ready to puke just from standing on this dock for 2 minutes. Don't ask him to carry anything.
Hilarious.
Well, I'm happy you guys are here. The cargo's all loaded and the ship's ready to set sail. Follow me aboard the SS Jonathan Wyman, prolific Portland, Maine producer, recording, and mix engineer. We'll cast off and get this journey underway. Adventure is just ahead.
Wyman, where's the rest of the crew?
No crew, just Jones, you, me, and the open sea.
Is that a good idea?
Sure, why not? What could go wrong?
Do you really want me to answer that?
So, Wyman, you really got multiple copies of every album ever recorded on board?
Yup, every single one. And now that we're out at sea, we'll have time to do some listening. I've already separated out all of the Beatles, Zeppelin, Stevie Wonder records for quick and easy access. They're over there in those crates.
Aren't those crates a little close to the edge? They look like they could fall into the ocean at any time.
They'll be fine. Hey, here, Jones, take the wheel for a second. I need to go check on something. I'll be right back.
Aye, aye, Captain. I got this.
Holy shit, what the fuck was that?
I think I may have just hit something.
What? You gotta be fucking kidding me. We're in the open ocean, for Christ's sake.
I don't know how to pilot a cargo ship. I've never done this before. Where's Wyman?
Oh my god, did you just hit something? Is that an iceberg? How the hell did you hit an iceberg? We just left England like 2 minutes ago.
That's not even the worst part. All those Beatles, Zeppelin, and Stevie Wonder albums just fell into the ocean.
We're taking on water, too. We're gonna have to get into the lifeboat and head for that desert island over there. The good news for you guys is that since we lost all of those Beatles, Zeppelin, and Stevie records, there's now room for the two of you on the lifeboat. The bad news is that we'll only have enough additional room to bring a turntable, a pair of speakers, and 10 albums in total.
Only 10 albums? And no Beatles, Zeppelin, or Stevie? How the hell are we supposed to decide on just 10 albums under these circumstances?
Okay, here's the plan. Each of us should go pick 10 albums. Once we've each picked 10, we'll narrow it down to our Desert Island top 10 from there.
So how long do we have before the ship sinks?
Approximately the same length of time as the average episode of Spencer and Zach Explore the Universe.
So, like, you know, so long that all of your friends will text you and say that though they like the show and our vibe and the production values, it's a little too long, and they have a hard time finishing each episode because 90 minutes is really too long, you know?
Yeah, something like that. Let's get to work. Oh, I hear ice cubes.
That's right. While I was getting my 10 albums, I also stopped at the galley and mixed myself a cocktail.
Fucking cow. All right, what do we got? Wyman, you go first.
Okay, my first choice is the 1993 album from the Bodines, Go Slow Down.
Is that true?
No, it's not. I was just making a joke about today's podcast.
I was like, I think we established last week, but I don't know who that is.
I was like, what the fuck? I've known this guy for 20 plus years.
I was, just making a little meta joke about today's episode.
We're all about that.
Okay, my first choice is going to be Gillian Welch, Time the Revelator, 2001.
Time.
I'm not familiar with it, so...
Yeah, we know what that means.
I don't know it, therefore I don't like it.
Well, I mean, we're going to be stuck on an island for a long time. I mean, this could be an opportunity for me to learn some new music.
It was some of what I was thinking was to bring along stuff that maybe you guys hadn't listened to.
It's a solid choice. I mean, if it passes muster for you, John, as an album that you would bring to an island, it can't suck. I'm kind of familiar with that album, not like super intimately though. Jones, what's your first pick?
All right. Well, first of all, are we like tallying up our how are we going to do this? We're going to go back and like eliminate things after we've listed them. Is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Are we gonna? Okay.
Yeah. And I'm keeping a list here.
Okay, good to know.
Yep. And then we'll each go through the master list and kick one off. Just as we announce, we will cut down.
Right on. Well, I'm gonna go with. I've gone for some easy keepers, I think. The Kinks or the Village Green Preservation Society is my first pick. There are numerous Kinks albums I would pick, but this one's a double album. It's perfect, and I assume that you guys will allow it to stay on the island.
Well, I also chose a Kinks album, but I chose something else.
Ooh.
And one thing we know is that one of these is going to get yanked because we can't have two records by the same artist.
That's right. By the nautical law of one album per artist.
Yeah. By according to British nautical law.
Yeah.
That I learned when I had to buy this giant cargo ship.
That's right.
Oh, you bought that?
Yeah, well.
Oh man, now I feel extra bad about hitting that iceberg.
He's been doing pretty good for himself after that #1 record.
That's right.
Bought himself a nice cargo ship. All right, Wyman, what do you got?
All right, number 2 for me is Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory.
Oh.
Ooh, nice.
Are we talking about the merits of these records yet?
If you like, yeah. I mean,
I just I think that record was 1991.
Feels right.
Sort of golden age of hip hop for me.
Same.
It is all the way through, all killer. I love it.
Nice.
Bob Power, Ron Carter,
yeah. No, I was slated to see them at Lollapalooza '93, except that my party was running late, and we pulled in and got through the ticketing booth just as Tribe was like, "Thank you, good night." Like, no! Very aggravating.
that sucks.
It did indeed. Bones, talk to me.
I am going to go with, if we're going to be on an island, I'm going to want to listen to some Beach Boys. And just like with the Kinks, there's like a million records I could choose. But I'm going to go with Pet Sounds just because it's, it's kind of the duh record. It has a song for every mood. It's got the sunshine, feel-good songs, and It's also got your "I'm lonely and the world doesn't understand me" songs. So
Yeah.
I'm going with Pet Sounds.
It's got that slinky, grimy jam at the end for when you want to fuck.
Not it.
Not it. I mean, I assume you're talking about like coconuts or something.
Brian Wilson really gets me in the mood. Okay. I will add to this pile Amy Mann's Bachelor Number 2.
God damn it.
Was it on
Did you
your
say
list?
that because you had it on your list?
Yeah, that's actually my next pick.
Oh,
Wow.
how about them apples?
Yeah.
Should we just go ahead and add that to the top 10 then?
I think it has to if two of us have it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Does
I mean,
that
I'm not gonna fight that
mathematically
record.
work? Is that...
I think so, right? I mean, at that
that
point,
becomes a majority.
if we end up with 11 songs that two people picked, then the three of us will have to vote one off, I guess, or however
Okay.
many off. Well, I'll put a star
Right
by
on.
it. I'll put a star by it. Because who knows? Like, even though we both picked it, there might be another record that comes along that if you had to choose between one or the other, one might kind of fill that void. You know what I mean? Also,
Sure.
That's true.
But yeah, I've starred it. So I guess it's back to Jones.
Right on. Well, I figure if we are going to be stuck on this island for who knows how long, I want to hear some female voices. What better female voice or voice in general is there than Aretha Franklin? Another artist with lots of records to pick from. Could have gone with Aretha now or Young, Gifted, and Black, but I've decided to go with Lady Soul.
Lady Soul. You know what's funny is that was on my list.
Seriously?
Yep. And then
Why not?
but then I was.
I mean, why would I not believe that?
But then seriously, what? Yeah, but I yanked it off in favor of
okay.
the debut Nickelback album. Just kidding.
Good call.
Because I just again fills the same void, right?
That's right.
My number 3 choice is Pink Floyd's "Wish You Were Here," which I'm going to say in advance, if either of you people try to cut this album off the end list, I'll cut you. with this now knife that I'm wearing in my sash belt that I have tied around my waist on my yeah.
I mean, we only had room for a specified amount of things, so I hope that you got rid of one of your shoes or something like that.
I'm not
Seriously, bringing knives onto the rescue boat, Spence? Like,
The
Who needs a knife for survival?
The second this heap of shit hit an iceberg, the shoes went out. I yanked out one of my teeth. I have an eye patch now. I have an earring.
parrot.
Arr. Yeah, I have suddenly a parrot, which I'll now
Parrot
have to
just
feed.
grew out of your right shoulder.
Yep. Boop. Yeah, "Wish You Were Here" is, with Pink Floyd, it would have been between these albums for me. It would have been "Dark Side of the Moon," because duh. "Wish You
Yeah.
Were Here." "Animals" is a contender. Kind of like "Up to the Wall." "Metal" would be a contender. But yeah, I just "Wish You Were Here" to me is their most perfect album. Period.
All right.
Cool.
Am
Am I up? Is that?
I think, yeah, you're up.
Okay. Like your Pink Floyd conundrum, I wanted to bring a record by one of my favorite bands, Wilco, and thought about it a lot. But I came down to Summer Teeth.
Dude, I had Wilco Summer Teeth.
Like, really? Like,
for
it made
real.
your list?
Yeah, that was my list. It was between that and
Oh, wow,
Yankee
'cause I
Hotel
thought-
Foxtrot.
Yeah, I mean, those are the two big ones for me, but I sort of picked Summer Teeth thinking that would be the outside one that nobody else would pick. But,
No, Summer
And
Teeth
since-
is that's my favorite one.
yep, mine too.
If I had to
It's
go to it.
experimental, it's fun, it's
Summer
got
Teeth-
amazing songs.
Yeah. Summer Teeth is to Yankee Hotel Foxtrot as Revolver is to Sgt. Pepper.
Okay, I like that.
As the Bends is to OK Computer.
Yep.
You know, it's like they're onto something. They haven't quite recognized like all of its potential yet, but they're in it, and they've made something entirely new and different. It's just like it's kind of
Yeah.
like it's like witnessing a forming star. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like a huge Hollywood star, you see. Wow, that's crazy. We got two.
I know. It's like we know each other or something.
Weird. It's weird. It's like we have.
This is exactly the
common
opposite of what I
tastes.
thought would happen. I literally thought you guys would pick all the same albums, and I'd just be like, well, I guess I'll just set myself off on the iceberg now.
Well, the captain's going to go down with the ship because none of his records made the list.
With his stupid records. We're taking the record player, by the way.
You're right.
Yeah. All right, Jones, what do you got lined up?
All right. I have got. I want to hear the Superfly soundtrack when I'm strutting around the island, thinking about the problems of the inner city back home.
Of York, Maine.
That's right.
The mean streets of York.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you're out in front of, like, what, Stonewall Kitchen listening to
I was about to say.
Pusher Man? Because I'm a Pusher Man.
For a big rumble at Mr. Mike's.
That's right. Hey, Mr. Mike's actually got robbed at gunpoint like a week ago. So,
But it was a shotgun. Some dude, like a Hunter orange cap.
Give me them hot dogs.
Give me all
Yeah,
those
and
hot
a
dogs
huge
and a bunch of scratch tickets and a give me a cat and a Lucky Strikes.
He robs Mr. Mike, but he sits there buying scratch tickets for 3/4 of an hour.
Yeah, that's
he
right.
robs them.
Yeah.
and just spinning donuts in the parking lot for 20 minutes before he leaves.
Empty the register. Give me a carton of smokes and give me. Let me see. I'll take 5 number 4s. Give me one Wonka bucks and a let's see. We'll do Scrabble and a Jeopardy. 2 Jeopardies.
That is my least favorite thing about convenience stores, especially now. Like, if you go into a convenience store, I don't know about you, but I'm like, I can't wait to not be in here,
Oh, yeah.
you know? And when you inevitably still, even in the before times, having somebody standing there choosing scratch tickets is, like, absolutely fucking infuriating.
Agreed.
All right. So that was Jones. That was Superfly?
That's right.
Great. My next record on my list is Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On."
Ooh.
Yep.
Would you believe that is also on my list?
I would indeed.
Strange. I thought you may have doubted that one.
Well, I know that you aren't into soul music,
No, not one bit.
except for
You have terrible taste.
that's right, terrible taste. You're only into, like, Michael Bolton and Rod Stewart redos of classic soul music.
That's right. And otherwise, it's just straight Creed and Nickelback.
Yeah, they're like Creed and Nickelback are like the Nazis in the Indiana Jones movies. They're like always the enemy when someone's talking about a music list.
Everybody gets a kick out of you punching them.
Yeah, I know. That's very funny. All right, well, that would go over to. Do I need to extol the virtues of Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On"?
I mean, if you'd like. But
It's awesome. If you don't know
Yeah.
it, I don't know if we're friends.
Yeah.
Next.
And when we get back home, we can stand in front of Mr. Mike's and listen to Inner City Blues.
That's right. That's right. All right. The piles are growing. What do you got, Wyman?
All right, this is definitely going to be a tough sell, so I will need to extol the virtues, but it is one of my favorite records. It's out of print, which is why I feel like we need to preserve this for posterity. Brian Blade and the Fellowship Band, Season of Changes.
Wow, I do not know this.
Okay.
Nor do I.
It's Brian Blade, famous drummer, and it's an instrumental jazz combo, piano, upright bass, electric guitar, 2 saxophones, drums.
Wow.
And it pushes some experimental stuff, but it also has, super heart-achingly beautiful songs. Stoner Hill is one of the ones I bet you don't know it by name, but if I played it for you, you'd recognize it. It's that one. There's a great video of them, I think at Chicago Music Exchange, doing it. And it's it's just the saddest waltz ever. It's
Well, if it ends up on the lifeboat, I'll look forward to checking it out.
Same.
And if it doesn't, I'll probably never hear it again. Because that
Nope,
might be
because that might be the last copy.
Yep, and we also might die after,
That's right.
after I'm done eating you guys both on the first day. Just there's another thing to keep in mind. When we get to the island, I'm going to cook you both immediately.
I mean, I might just throw the two of you overboard and then just pick 30 records that I want.
Yeah, but you only get to bring 10. Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, see? I'm not going to do that. Don't worry.
I'm checking the math on this, and I feel like we each weigh more than 10 records, right?
Spencer, we're not supposed to believe in science.
I think I might have found a plot hole.
What? The undisclosed location in England, the iceberg off the coast, and
a desert island.
Oh my god! Like we literally, according to our setup, I believe that we could just turn around and yell to the shore for help. But yeah,
I mean, we could probably swim back.
Yeah,
but
we're gonna have to survive.
Yeah, but we've got records. So.
Or like we sink, but it doesn't actually sink all the way down, and we can just walk back with crates of records. our pants rolled up to our knees, like
it sinks up to the
looking
deck.
ashamed.
Oh man! All because Zach hit an iceberg. Fucking Mr. Magoo over here.
I mean,
Roadhog.
Who expected an iceberg right there? All right, is it my turn?
I think so.
All right. I've been on a little bit of a Bonnie Raitt kick lately, so I grabbed Nick of Time. We gotta have that.
That was also Jones. It was on my list.
Well, there we go.
And I kicked that off, obviously, for Christina Aguilera's debut album, which I don't know the name of.
It's because you kicked it off and watched it
so
ground.
you kicked off?
Yeah, I had Bonnie Raitt on my list,
Okay.
but I have my master list with all my frustrated crossouts on it. I think I did like close to 20, and I was like, ouch,
Yeah.
Like for instance, on my list, I had OK Computer on my list, but I kind of held up Wish You Were Here and OK Computer, and I was like, sorry, Radiohead, I love you. Not that they are like, the same, but they do kind of occupy
Sure.
a similar vibe.
I tried to do the same thing with my choices and keep it, not have a whole lot of overlap.
Yeah, you don't need to bring a Swiss Army knife and a Leatherman. So, I guess, is that me now? Bonnie Raitt's Nick of Time is a wonderful choice. I have De La Soul's Stakes is High.
Ooh.
Which I don't know if you two are familiar with that record.
That's the one that has like Me, Myself, and I on it, right?
No,
That's
that's 3 Feet High and Rising.
Oh, that's yes, that's what I'm thinking of. Never mind.
So their opening salvo of records was 3 Feet High and Rising, or at least like on Tommy Boy, their major label debut, and then they did the one after that is I think Balloon Mind State. No, the follow up is De La Soul Is Dead, then Balloon Mind State.
Yeah.
And then there might have been one more, but then there was Stakes is High, and it is one of those records that didn't have like a big hit on it, but it's super heady. The production is outstanding. It's very serious. Like there's actually like this one part where they're having a conversation with a homeless person. It's a recorded conversation with a homeless person on the record, and that's actually where the title comes from. At the end of his dissertation, this guy's like, stakes is high, and but it also like it weaves around. It is fun, but it's also serious and it's thought provoking. It kind of like fills a similar void to me as like only not style wise, but like kind of thematically, like Songs in the Key of Life. You know how that album like weaves in between. You're partying over here, and then over here we're talking about some serious stuff. So, yeah, so that's on my list.
Well, right on.
Great.
All right, is that me?
That's you.
All right, this is another tough sell, but it's one of my favorite records ever. So far, we haven't talked about much like heavy music. There hasn't been a whole lot of like big rock and roll. And so I'm going to propose Mastodon, Crack the Sky. That's the first record they did with Brendan O'Brien. It is a concept record. It's a great record to listen to start to finish, but there's also great, like, non-epic songs. There's still just songs on it. I think the production sounds great. I think, it's a little proggy. It's a little nerdy. And it's heavy without being the sort of manufactured heavy records that kind of I hear all the time. That it actually still sounds like people playing instruments and making this like tornado of rock and roll.
Yeah, into it. I saw Mastodon at Port City Music Hall.
Oh, I think I was at that show.
Oof. Crusher.
It was loud as fuck.
I know, but I had headphones in, or earplugs.
Yeah.
And it worked. Like, it just sounded... the show was mixed to be enjoyed with earplugs. And enjoy it I did. It was... I felt, like, moved by... Like, like, sometimes if you're, like, on a... Like, riding in a car that's vibrating a lot, and you get out and you kind of tingle afterwards.
Yeah, there's that physical element to it.
You're kind of buzzing. That's how when I left the show.
It's also cool because there are 3 singers in the band, and even in some songs, like I think the first song on Crack the Sky, everybody sings. It starts off with the drummer singing the verse, and then the bass player sings the pre-chorus, and then one of the guitar players sings the actual chorus.
Yeah,
it's got layers, man.
And their previous album too, like, I'm glad they made that switch because they were 4 singers, and the other guitar player has like really kind of like more of like a Paula Abdul kind of vibe, which as eclectic as they were, it didn't really just fit the overall vibe. No shade to Paula. And that's the other guitar player's name also.
Paula.
Hey, hello there, my friends. This is Zach Jones, and I'm here with your Bull Moose Minute for the week beginning August 24th. This week, we have a brand new record from the Lemon Twigs called Songs for the General Public. Allow me to read you a brief passage from Guitar World magazine. Of the Lemon Twigs, they say, their first record, Do Hollywood, established them as a force for good, capable of combining droll humor and deep knowledge of rock's 70s visionaries into something somehow fun, contemporary, and gritty. Second effort, 2018's Go to School, was produced from their Long Island home studio and saw the duo create a 16-track concept record about a chimpanzee raised as a human. And now they're back with Songs for the General Public, a rocky affirmation of what many suspected from the start, that if the Lemon Twigs choose to, they can outgun just about any of their contemporaries. I dig these guys. I would recommend checking them out. Songs for the General Public was originally slated to be released on May 1st. We did get hit with a little bit of a pandemic. The record was delayed. It comes out this week. You can find it at Bull Moose. The Lemon Twigs, Songs for the General Public. Also available this week on hardcover book is Harrow Lake, a young adult novel from Kat Ellis. In Harrow Lake, Lola Knox is the daughter of a celebrated horror filmmaker. She thinks nothing can scare her. But when her father is brutally attacked in their New York apartment, she's quickly packed off to live with a grandmother she's never met in Harrow Lake, the eerie town where her father's most iconic movie was shot. The locals are weirdly obsessed with the film that put their town on the map, and there are strange disappearances which the police seem determined to explain away. And there's someone, or something, stalking her every move. The more Lola discovers about the town, the more terrifying it becomes, because Lola's got secrets of her own, and if she can't find a way out of Harrow Lake, they might just be the death of her. This week at Bull Moose, Harrow Lake by Kat Ellis. Check it out. Bull Moose stores are your #1 purveyors of all things awesome. Your movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, your music, LPs, CDs, your posters, books, video game players, movie players, music players. You name it, Bull Moose has probably got it. They have stores throughout Maine and New Hampshire. You can find them at bullmoose.com. You can find them at Bull Moose Stores on Instagram, and you can find them on Facebook. Go to Bull Moose, get the things you need. This has been your Bull Moose Minute. I am also going to go with a rock and roll concept album. I would imagine it's not quite as heavy as Mastodon, but it's also kind of nerdy. The Who Sell Out, which is maybe among the first concept albums, filled with fake commercials and silly jingles, and also excellent songs like I Can See for Miles and Marianne with the Shaky Hands and
Odorono.
Tattoo. And Odorono. Yeah.
I will see your Who Sell Out, and I'll raise you Who's Next.
Considered it, and will continue to consider it, but the Who Sell Out is the one that I put on my list.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that Who's Next is on my list.
Gotcha.
So,
all right.
I'm just
Well,
saying.
and that is why I will continue to consider it.
That's right. That's all I'm saying. Who's Next is the perfect mix of somewhat of a concept-ish record. Like there's a vibe there because there's a bunch of songs from that play Lifehouse that Townsend was working on. But I guess what really, to me, like it contains like one of the greatest rock moments, period, and Won't Get Fooled Again. Like that song's one of the most rocking things that has ever happened. Still, and I guess it's just the overall songwriting quality that I like. There's still like a little bit of one thing I love about the Who Sell Out is that you can hear them like as a band, like because they have like kind of like a shtick between they're a performance group, like they're almost like vaudevillian in a way. Like if you've both seen the Rock and Roll Circus performance.
I have. Yep.
Yeah. So like to that's like kind of the era we're talking about with the Who Sell Out. Still has that, but like Who's Next there's some of that in there, like you can kind of allude to it, but I don't know. It's just I think it's the best Keith Moon performance on an album, like the most focused anyway.
Yeah.
Even though you can still hear him like whacking the rims of his toms with his sticks. You know why? Because he's fucking wasted.
Yeah, and he's awesome, and he's the only guy who can get away with that. Like, stamping his foot on eighth notes while doing the whole fill. Like, anybody else doing that, and it sounds like a colossal mess. And Keith Moon is just so good.
Yeah.
This is the third week in a row we've mentioned Keith Moon, but the first time we've mentioned his drumming.
Interesting.
And not his substance abuse.
Yeah.
All right, Wyman, what do you got?
Okay, I'm gonna skip the next one on. I'll do the next one on my list. And this was one of those contentious spots, and I actually just made my decision now which one it should be, because based on something I named earlier, I'd be sort of violating my own rule of having too many records too similar. So I'm gonna put Tom Petty, Full Moon Fever.
Fuck.
And I don't think we need to talk about it.
No.
No.
Since we already spent Spence and I already spent half a podcast already talking about it.
I can't believe I didn't choose that album.
I didn't choose any Tom Petty records, and I can't believe that.
Oh, maybe we fire Zach over the side of the boat then.
Yeah, I guess so. And just bring the rest of the Petty catalog. No, I'm gonna. If I get thrown over the side, I'm bringing the Tom Petty catalog with me. I'm gonna find it.
This is what it's turned into. It's just
use it to weight me down. And
you holding Full Moon Fever with a knife out. Get back! Get away from me! And I'll be over there like tucking in my bib and getting ready to cook you.
After you fished me out of the water,
sharpening my knife with my fork, which is a thing that people do in the movies that does not. Why it doesn't work? That's a great choice.
Yep.
Yeah, it is a great choice.
It was one of the first albums I ever bought, and I still have an incredible connection to it, and I still love it start to finish.
I was actually listening to Long After Dark this morning, but it could have been any Tom Petty record, which again makes it strange I did not put one on my list. But I think it is my turn now. And, I figure we're probably, going to have a lot of time where we're going to want to sit down and relax a little bit and maybe not have people singing at us. And so I wanted to pick an instrumental record, and I immediately just thought of Miles Davis. I love a lot of his stuff with Gil Evans, like the Sketches of Spain and Miles Ahead. But for the sake of an album that is just inarguable to anybody, I went with Kind of Blue.
And I also went with Kind of Blue.
Excellent.
Yep.
I almost my Tom Petty pick came down to Tom Petty or Coltrane Love Supreme, which is sort of in that same instrumental jazz pantheon record. So I'm glad you guys both have something that scratches that itch.
I think Coltrane's Love Supreme has more in common with Mastodon than it does.
I get it. I get it. But in
Miles.
terms of time period and like
vibe, sound quality, sensibilities.
instrumentation, like
Yep.
But yeah.
Cool. Well, I mean, Jones picked my next pick, so back to you, Wyman.
All right. So once again, I'm going to bring the rock. I'm going to, I don't know if you could call this a grunge record, but it gets lumped into grunge records. I'm going to bring Soundgarden Super Unknown. I think it's one of the best rock records of all time. I think Chris Cornell was, as far as a vocalist goes, unbelievably talented. I love how raw that record sounds. I love how evil, how mean. I love Matt Cameron. He's one of my favorite drummers of all time. It's a long record. There's a lot of material on there because it's one of those records that came out during the high point of the CD age where you sort of there was this obligation to fill all 90 minutes or 80 minutes that are on a CD. I think there's 15 songs on the record.
That's the era of all the hip hop records that had skits between every song, probably for that same reason.
I think the skits thing was actually a publishing thing. I read something about it one time, and it became advantageous. All these skits qualified as like different songs. Ergo, there was like some publishing advantage. I don't really remember.
I always assumed it was just to fill some time on the CD stuff, but what do I know?
No, I mean it definitely does that too.
Yeah, well, some people really took. I mean, De La Soul Is Dead is arguably one of the first skit records, and if I don't know if you're familiar with that record, but it's in the style of a read-along storybook. Where these kids get beat up and they get their De La Soul tape stolen. Now I've got the new De La Soul. Who are we up to? Is it Super Jones?
I think
Jones.
Back to me again. Yeah. So this is I'm going to take another swing into Soulsville. This album is kind of a 2-for-1. It's the Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway record that has Where's the Love and their version of You've Got a Friend, and it's just it's an all killer, no filler, feel good, be moved kind of record.
In my kind
with
of
two
blue
of the greatest
spot,
voices.
I originally had Roberta Flack's First Take to kind of fill that chill vibe. I kind of wish I'd put it in there, but I also am glad I didn't, because now it would be that album up against Roberta and Donny, which is also great, although they're different moods.
This is getting really difficult. I'm starting to panic. I'll just let you guys know.
It's not even. We're not even close to difficult.
No, I know. It's.
I've got another one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 2 more. Does everybody else have 2 more?
Yep.
2 more.
Okay.
And I'm currently weighing out a last minute change.
Oh yeah. On the fly. I panic wrote down Los Lobos Colossal Head, but I was like, you know what? No, you didn't think of it. Tough shit. I don't get to do that. My next one is Jimi Hendrix, Axis Bold as Love.
Well, that was on my list as well.
Wow. You're shitting me. Wow. I mean, it's not that surprising.
Who would have thought you liked Jimi Hendrix like I do?
I love Jimi Hendrix, and I mean, he was around for such a short period of time and during such a prime that nothing with his name attached to it is bad. But those 3 Experience records are like, I remember, like, that takes me back to a place. Even to which point, when I kind of went back, like, I'm going to buy, because they reissued him on vinyl recently. And I was like, I'll try it out, like, see if it still works. Like, oh yeah, no, that still works for me, very, very much so. But Axis is the one of all 3 that hits my turntable the most. So, over to Wyman.
I also just realized.
sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Jones, I'm sorry.
That's my 10 picks because we also crossed over on What's Going On. So
Wait, that's
you
all
used
10
2 of mine.
for you?
Yeah. Well, because you used 2 of mine.
Well, no.
Or unless I still get to add some of the holdover songs.
You should have contributed 10 albums in total. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've only got 9 from you, bud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 10 from you. Yeah, I got 10 from you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Wyman. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 from you presently.
Yep.
Do you want to lay one on us?
Yeah, I do. I'm getting panicky, guys.
Yep.
This is gonna be the music that we have to listen to for the rest of our short lives before Spencer eats us both.
Yeah, you only got like
or
5
until
minutes.
somebody from the mainland just sees us on the islands.
I'm actually going to order some Old Bay, and I'm going to have an Amazon delivery. Like, I'm going to get a grill.
That would be the greatest coup. It's like, you can't get rescued, but Amazon can get there.
Yeah.
It's drone delivery.
All right, well, listen, I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just going to, because I actually made this list relatively fast. I really wanted it because, like, we're panicking, guys. We're on a sinking ship. We don't have time to sit around and scratch our chins.
Is that a metaphor for our life, or is that?
I mean, my career, you know.
Says the guy who just had a #1 record. I just want to point that out again.
I love that we named the sinking ship after my career.
There's a joke in there too.
Yeah,
that didn't even occur to me. Double joke.
So I'm not gonna second guess myself. I definitely, my list tends to steer a little like 90s to 2005 or so, and this sort of falls squarely in there. And I'm going to take the debut Ben Folds 5 record, self-titled.
I had Reinhold Messner on my list for a minute.
Yeah, I like the self-titled record. Again, just song after song after song. It is so sparse instrumentally. It's literally just the trio. I don't even think there are any overdubs. Like,
nothing obvious if there are.
No. And I mean, well, there's backup vocals and stuff, but it's not like I don't think there are any strings or anything on it. There's definitely no guitars.
I don't think so.
No.
The only thing I could think of would be boxing at the end if there were strings on that, but are there strings? I don't remember. I don't think there are.
So. It's just piano.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big album for me too, John.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like, talk about the balls to have the first note you sing on your first album be so fucking out of tune.
Stop so flat. Right?
And it's just from that moment, it's just like, all right, this is no holds barred. This is crazy. And there was a funny story for me. I had heard the tail end of Where's Summer Be, which is my favorite song on that record. Mm-hmm. I'd heard it on the radio, and this would have been in 1995. And there's no Shazam. I listened to the radio for like 45 minutes hoping they'd say who it was, and they never did. And it just, like, this last bit of the song, if you ever heard it, it just sort of goes around in circles with the background vocals doing these ahs over all these, like, great piano chords that as a guitar player I'm, like, drawn to because I have no idea how you play these chords. They sound so good. And then I walked into band practice one day, and my drummer is literally playing that CD after years of not knowing what that song is, and I instantly recognized it and instantly knew it, and it was like one of those serendipitous moments, and I bought the record the next day, and I've listened to it 100,000 times. I love it.
What band were you in at the time?
Oh, we're not going there, buddy. This is my ship.
I'm thirsty. I'm gonna go grab a soda. I'll be right back.
It was your ship. That's funny because so their second record had come out. The
Whatever, Never Amen.
Title's escaping me. Yes, and Brick was on the radio
Yep.
a lot, and I liked it, but I wasn't like I was like I like this. I like it more than most of the other stuff I'm hearing, but I didn't like run out and get it. Then Song for the Dumps came out, and I was like, I like this. I'm not sure if I'm sold yet, but I was into it. And then it was actually your sister, Spencer, who was like, you should check out their first record. And I'm sure she probably heard it from you. And yeah, that was it. I heard that record and listened to it like nonstop. And then I went and bought the new record and ended up really liking that a lot too.
Yeah.
Or the one that was new at the time.
It really, I mean, it's funny. It's like musically really smart and good. It's sad. It's really heartbreakingly sad at times.
And I think I was a sophomore in high school when I first heard that, and hearing like underground, just songs about like nerdy misfits. I
Hand
was
me
like,
my
yep, I
nose
get-
ring.
Can we be
mine-
happy?
I mean, for me, it would be more like, hand me my fleece socks and my Tevas. But yeah, it worked.
Show me the mosh pit. Show me the mosh pit. That's a great choice, Wyman. And,
Agreed.
Yeah, Ben Folds almost hit my list, but then didn't.
I haven't even thought about that record in years, but I spent so much time with it back then.
It's worth another spin.
I've recently listened to it, and I agree, it holds up. It's raw. It's a punk pop record. It's like it's a piano trio recorded in the style of a punk band, but it musically informed by a lot of like 70s and 60s like vocal group moves. It's great. Truly original. That's one thing. You can like Ben Folds or not, Ben Folds 5, but like you can't take away that they did their own thing. They marched to their own drum, the beat of their own drum. I guess, Jones, you've already listed all yours, and so it's down to me for my last one, I believe.
Yep.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just counting my stack here. My last one is, it's Philip Glass's, or the Philip Glass Ensemble's Glassworks.
Yep.
Because that's my when I really want to contemplate things, when I really kind of like it's very meditative for me.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, that, and it's also like Ben Folds 5. It's truly original. It's like when that hit, not that I was really like cognizant. I think it came out in 78 or 77, but I remember hearing Philip Glass on Sesame Street, not knowing who it was, but I can remember all those color wheels on Sesame Street?
Of course.
Yep. And I kind of like, when I got into Glassworks, I had this like, wait a minute moment, This is the sound from the color wheels on Sesame Street. So, and Wyman, you have one more?
I do, and I'm going to call an audible. I'm dumping my original one. My original number 10, which was Radiohead in Rainbows, and I'm jettisoning it, and I'm going to say Elvis Costello, Brutal Youth.
Oh, man.
Like,
I
not anybody's favorite Elvis Costello record but mine, because when it came out, I was so absorbed by music. I was listening to music every hour of every day. I think I had just started at Big Sound. When I heard it, we had in the office of Big Sound a promotional copy.
Big Sound was
that.
a recording studio in Westbrook, Maine. Had a Trident board and a 2-inch tape machine. So it's like that's where Wyman and I met.
Yep.
and that's where I met Wyman as
There you
well.
Yep. And so I was 22 barely, and heard this record, and it's a Mitchell Froom and Chad Blake record. So it really sounds terrific, and I really imprinted on it. And again, like, I know that in the pantheon of Elvis Costello, it's not really anybody's favorite record, but you just go through it and you listen to it, and just it's awesome.
I celebrate every single Elvis Costello record.
Yeah, no,
And,
I hear you, and
I've
that's kind of why I called the audible at the end and heave-hoed Radiohead, because it's like I think I like Elvis Costello way more than I like Radiohead. And
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time with Brutal Youth. I think You Tripped on Every Step.
oh my
is,
God,
I
it's
think
so
one of the greatest songs
gorgeous.
ever written.
20%
it's so good.
Amnesia.
Yeah, This Is Hell, I think, is on that record.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a number of there's a number of Elvis Costello albums you could have mentioned, and they'd all be correct, and this is one of them.
Yeah, I thought
Agreed.
about Spike with the
Spike,
Paul McCartney
yeah.
angle, but because that
Spike
also
would be my favorite.
Yeah, Spike imprinted on me at a different time in my life. But I
Spike was my doorway into Elvis Costello.
I think that could be said for a lot of us. Like,
Same.
I mean, I grew up listening to WBCN, which was a classic rock station in Boston, so I heard a lot of Watching the Detectives and just earlier stuff. You know, My Aim Is True sort of era.
Pump it up.
Yep. Yeah, Pump It Up. Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember watching SNL reruns and seeing him come on with like this long hair, long beard.
Oh yeah.
He looks like
And,
Joel Thetford in that show. I remember that one.
That was
I think
Mighty
he-
Like the Rose.
Yeah, he was playing songs from Mighty Like the Rose, but I didn't even get into that record until way later. But I remember just that performance having an effect on me. And then when I went to like look him up, finding out that he had done work with Paul McCartney, which is what led me to Spike. And then that's what opened the door to me just falling in love with the dude.
Yep. All right. Well, we have our list now. We have 30 records, or a little less than 30 because there's some crossovers there that we now need to pare down. We need to pare down.
On next week's episode of Spencer and Zach Explore the Universe.
All right, let's hurry it up, boys. My dry martini's about to get wet.
Hey guys, what do you think this button does?
That's a lot of poop.
I can't feel my legs.
There's sharks circling the boat. They want to give us a record deal.
Why are you guys naked?
Newsheads, I am your father.
Next Monday, the gripping conclusion of the Desert Island Top 10 on Spencer and Zach Explore the Universe.
No, seriously, I really have to pee.
It's time for Happy Hour, presented by Main Spirits. Last week, I had a grumble in my tum-tums, a.k.a. my stomach did not feel very good. And I was a little concerned and not feeling good, because who doesn't like to feel good, especially these days, right? Who wants to feel bad? My wife, however, saw this, comforted me, and then sprung into action. I had no idea. And while I was laying in bed going like, I don't feel that good, she made me a beverage from scratch, non-alcoholic, mind you. And I drank this beverage, and it fixed everything. I felt great almost instantly, and it was delicious, and it was refreshing. And as I'm laying there convalescing, I thought this would be great with some gin in it. So that's what we're gonna make today. So we're gonna make the no more grumble in your tum tum. So let's get our tools together. We're going to need a tumbler. We'll need some ice as well. We're going to need a muddler. We're going to need the top to the shaker and a strainer. We're going to need also a rocks glass. We'll also need some ice for that. For ingredients, we will need the following: fresh ginger, fresh lemon, Bimini gin, and soda water. Now let's build this thing. In a shaker with some ice in it, throw in some hunks of fresh cut ginger root. Kind of chop it up a little bit and toss it in there. Then take the juice of 1/2 of a lemon. Squeeze that in there as well. Now take your muddler and pulverize it. Break that ginger up. Break it right up. Once sufficiently pulverized, add 2 ounces of Bimini gin. Put the top on, and now shake it. Shake it like the dickens. Shake it like it did something bad to you. Shake it like it owes you money. And then strain that into a rocks glass full of ice, and then top that off with soda water, and then cut off a swath of lemon peel for a garnish. Squeeze it, get the oils all over the rim. There we go.
Drop it in, and now let's take a sip. It is tremendous. It is refreshing. It is rejuvenating. And if you take the gin out, it's almost medicinal. If you leave the gin in, it is also still medicinal, but for a completely different reason. You can learn more about this drink and many other drinks made by people more qualified than this guy, who's just laying in bed adding booze to things, by visiting mainspirits.com or following them on Instagram at main_spirits, or you can download their app for your smartphone where you can see videos that we make out of these happy hour thingamajigs, plus all kinds of how-tos and what-fors when it comes to the world of delicious spirits, which we encourage you to drink deliciously and responsibly. Spencer and Zach Explore the Universe is brought to you by Main Spirits. You can visit them online at mainspirits.com or download their app or visit them on Instagram at main_spirits. The show is also brought to you by Bull Moose, serving Maine and New Hampshire's music, movie, video game, and book and trinket needs since 1782. Also brought to you by Sun Tiki Studios at 375 Forest Avenue or at suntikistudios.com. Spencer and Zach Explore the Universe is a Mistakes Were Made production.